Hi everyone, and I am still getting used to being on actual camera versus just filming my work. So this video I am going to be mixing my paints because somebody asked, can you do a video on how you mix your paints? And to be honest, I didn't do it earlier because I thought, oh, there's heaps of videos and I'm sure it's not rocket science, but I understand that for some people it's actually, if you're just starting up, it can be quite challenging. So first of all, I'm going to start with my white. I premix my white and I keep it in this 500 ml bottle because I use mostly white and black as well as in the large one. And for my other colors, I either use these smaller ones because you don't want them to sit there too long. They start to go a little bit thick and then you need to dilute them again. So if you don't use a color very often but you keep it in a large bottle, it's going to go drier or harder, and you need to keep diluting it. The other thing is, if you're only making a color for, let's say, one piece of art, you can just mix it in a little jar like this. So there's a lot of things to cover. We'll start with white, and for white I am going to use this PB Studio Acrylics white. It is high viscosity, and because I've been using this one already quite a bit, if I can open it, oh my gosh, yes, I can open it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it inside this jar. Why? Normally I mix it in a cup. However, even when you pour it into the bottle and you scrape it really well, I feel like there's a lot of waste that remains on the walls, while there'll still be waste in this container. So I'm going to try and reduce the waste by just using this one. And if for some reason I find that I need more space, I will then transfer it. So another two pieces I will need is this one for main stirring and this one for scraping. I find this shape scrapes the sides of the container better. I use Australian Floetrol, which I do understand in most parts of the world is extremely expensive. It is getting really expensive here in New Zealand as well. I buy a 4 liter and then I transfer it into a 1 liter, and constantly shake before you use it because it does split into kind of two different types of liquids. If it has been sitting on your shelf for a couple of weeks, you need to shake it really well, which of course is easier to do with a smaller container than it is with this larger one, which is quite heavy. So I'm just going to put this one away. I'll put it here just in case you guys need to zoom in and have a look. All right, so I'll zoom in onto the paints, and after that I'm going to talk about a couple of colors and how I mix colors. And today I also decided to use this opportunity to do a little experiment. So I'm going to do a separate video, this one, for mixing the colors, and then I'll do a separate video using these particular colors in a particular painting I have in mind, and we'll see how those different types of mixtures react. So sometimes it is good to put a little bit of Floetrol on the bottom. So if I was mixing in this container, I'd pour a little bit of Floetrol on the bottom, then I'll put the paint in, start mixing the paint, then I'll add the Floetrol. However, because I'm trying to reuse this container, let's see, fingers crossed, if I can do a little cheat. So what I'm going to do is I'll use this palette knife to just kind of dig through, just to create just a little bit of a hole, I guess is the word, or even just push it aside a little so that there is a little bit of depth right in the middle. Oh, let's see if I can open it now. Yes, I can. All right, so you saw me shake it really well. Remember to always shake it really well, and then we're going to pour it in. So I pour in quite, it looks like it's quite a lot, but normally the ratio you aim for long term is about 2/3 of Floetrol, 1/3 of paint. Don't quote me on this 100% because I never really follow this 100%, because, sorry, I'm repeating myself, because the paints are all different. So if you buy different brands, different viscosities, the ratio will be different. If you buy quite liquid paint, which I will show you later today, then you don't need any Floetrol, or you need hardly any. But as you can see, the consistency is changing. It is now still very, very much blobby. You want to mix it through right through. Okay. So it's definitely softer, but you all can see what it looks like. I just don't want to use that word. Okay. So from here, pour a bit more. I always close this because sometimes I get carried away, and as I walk away, I forget about my open jars and they start to dry up. So I'm trying to create good habits. All right, let me just move the camera a bit. I can see it's shaking. You guys experiencing a bit of an earthquake, which I'm sure is very annoying. And like that. And I'll just zoom in a tiny bit so you can still see the awesomeness. So lots and lots of stirring. Not the funnest part of creative process, to be honest. I don't know, some people might find it therapeutic. I don't. I wish this could be done easier. Okay. See? Now it is quite liquid. But for our purpose, it is still not right. First of all, I can tell that it's not very smooth. Like some of it runs and then you have these little blobby bits. So let's just keep mixing. White is very hard to mix because white is the same color as Floetrol. So you don't see the chunks as easily as you would see in other colors. I sprayed myself in the eye. And that's one of the reasons why I always have a specific set of pants and tops that I don't care if they get paint on them. So no, I don't normally dress like this. I just dress like that for art. It's getting better. It's already running, but it's still let me just try and mix it through a bit more. Oopsie daisy. Scrape. Make sure you scrape from the bottom because there's a lot of bits that get stuck on the bottom. Let's have a look. So for what I like to do, I wanted just a little bit more liquid. Yeah, so you can see it's okay. It is kind of like warm honey, but it's just a tiny bit too thick because I mostly use it for backgrounds. And I like my backgrounds to be very, very flowy. So just a tiny bit more. Not a lot. Now it's starting to look smoother. It runs a lot more liquid. So now I'm happy with it because this consistency, if it ends up being too thick, I can always dilute it further for a particular painting. So now I will transfer it to my bottle. Now this bottle has a little bit in it already, and I have explained to you before that if you leave it in there, it just starts to go a little bit thick. So what I'm going to do is actually transfer it here first, because it's not too thick, but it is slightly, and mix it in. And now we're going to transfer it in. So this one ended up being just a little bit more than halfway of the bottle. So just like that, it's 300 mils, and it sounds like a lot, but on the larger pieces, it doesn't last long. You can go through this very, very quickly. It is cheaper for colors that you use a lot to buy these larger tubs. I don't use this one for hand painting and hand, touch-ups. I have a different thicker paint for that in a tube. So I buy this one literally just to see how when it's thin, it's very, very, I don't know if you can see, it's very easy to scrape it off. And trust me, when you really get into this properly, you count every drop. Everything's so expensive. Okay. Excellent. So this is our white done and ready to go. And just use my trusty towel. I wash this towel regularly. It doesn't look like it, but I actually do wash it very often. Otherwise, it becomes really, really, really useless. Okay, now let's go. Little accessories that I use are the little ice block sticks, and I reuse them as much as possible. But however, like if they get used up too much, obviously I chuck it, but I try to use it for as long as I can. And right now I'm going to be working with all sorts of greens and blues, so I'll be able to reuse a few of the blue ones. Just make sure that they're washed. So when you wash them, even though they are stained, they don't have any bits that can fall off them. But if they're not washed properly, then as you mix it, some of the paint can come off and affect your color. And pigs are excellent for when you think you can't reach any more paint by squeezing it out of the tube. You can cut the tube and dig the paint from the inside and then use the pigs to hold the container, and that keeps it quite nice and fresh for a while. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is this color here. This color is quite interesting because I just keep adding to it as I have beautiful, weird emerald color now. So this color I did not buy. I like doing that and coming up with different shades. But you can see it's been sitting here for ages and it is now getting thick. This one, originally all the colors in here were mixed with Floetrol. So because I'm doing an experiment, I'm going to keep this one with Floetrol, but the next one will add water. So small amounts. If you want to use small amounts and you don't trust your hands, which I don't, you can use this thing. Oh look, just as well I squeezed it because there was water in there. So let me put it back to dry and get another one which is somehow also has water in it. Obviously I've been so prepared for this video. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on guys, we're getting there. I must have you know what I did? It's because I was drying them the wrong way up. So lesson learned, don't dry them facing up, dry them facing down. Okay, here we go. This is a completely new one. Where did I get them from? They came with various acrylic flow art sets. So I will show you another bit from one of them before, but I'm sure you can find them if you really want them somewhere else, wherever you live. Squeeze, insert, release, it picks some up. We put it inside. I think we need at least 2 of those. Okay, and then we stir. And you can see with this color, you can kind of see actually where Floetrol kind of ends and the paint begins. So it's a little bit easier, be softer, but it still doesn't even come off, yeah? So at least another 2 of these. See how you can really tell where the Floetrol is? Hopefully I can actually see what's being filmed right now. And as you mix it, it just incorporates and the color does not change. That's the beauty of it, is that the color does not change. Check the consistency. It's definitely starting to be drippy, but not flowy yet. So I'd say at least another 2. The different viscosity of paints when they interact with each other is going to affect how your painting looks. And the best way to get in control of that is to start a diary and keep track of everything you've done. Okay, so now it's already like actually drippy, but still not there. Told you it's a painful process. But as I keep saying, it's always better to have less at the start than too much, because you can always add, but you can't easily deduct when it comes to paints. And for my purpose, yeah, it's good. So, perfect. Alright, so I'm going to close the Floetrol because I'm not going to use it again. I'm going to cover this up, leave it here. So we've already done white and we've done this emerald green. Okay, now in my collection of leftover colors, leftovers, and this has also been sitting in this little silicone container. It's been sitting there since last year, since before Christmas last year, and it is now March, so quite a while. It's gone thick, but it's still usable because some of my other ones have dried up completely. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, these are all the paints mixed together. Previously they were mixed with Floetrol, and because I keep reading about this mix of Floetrol and water, but I'm scared, and the reason I'm scared is because I also know that if you have too much water, your paint can crack. I see all these people posting paintings with paint cracked when it dries. So I'm going to proceed cautiously and not do anything with just water. So this one is already Floetrol, and then I'm going to put a little bit of water because remember I don't like waste. So I'm going to try and screw it up. Yeah, remember this is an experiment, so I don't really know what I'm doing. This is how I learn. I try. Okay, so and then now the great thing about the silicone cups is that you can learn it to dry, leave it to dry. If you can't wash it straight away, it's better to actually leave it to dry, and then you just peel the paint off them, and it just peels off cleanly. But if you can wash it, I still prefer to wash them properly. By the way, I much more prefer paper towels, but I'm so trying to be sustainable and reuse things, and you know. So just a bit of water, and it already made it a lot more liquid, but not liquid enough. And I have a feeling that I don't need much. Like, it's literally just a little bit, but we'll see. because it makes a big difference. I feel like adding water makes a bigger difference than adding Floetrol in terms of how quickly it becomes fluid. See? It's already so much more runny. A tiny bit more. And it's completely runny, yeah? So just on the side of caution, adding water, be way more careful as it runs. So much easier. Okay, I'm gonna cover that up again. And then we're just gonna talk about a couple of other paints that I'm gonna use. I am going to try and finish off this one. I'm keeping it upside down. It's a Byron pouring acrylic, specifically already pre-mixed. I don't know what's in it. I don't think it tells you what's in it. It's their company secret. But I bought a whole set, and this is my last color, last bit left. So I keep it upside down so it just runs down. I am going to try and finish at least one of these. This is exactly the same set but by Reeves, and they also had a whole bunch of colors, and I just have these two left because I had two sets. This one, I'm still learning this one because it acts differently. This is I can't pronounce it, Lumerie, I would say, and it comes ready to go. When you open it, this is very expensive stuff. Haven't used it yet. When you open it, most of the colors are actually ready to go. This one, I don't know why, came a little bit more sticky. And I'm debating with myself of whether to add Floetrol or water, but I think I will go on the cautious side and add Floetrol. And I'm going to go straight into the jar. Why? Because I only ever use these colors for pouring. I don't hand paint with them. And all the other colors in the series that I bought, they're all very liquid. So I don't know whether this jar was just open or not, but it's such a pretty color that I definitely want to make use of it today. Now, anything that's iridescent or glittery doesn't mix as well. See, this is still doesn't mix as well as opaque colors. This one has been pre-mixed, so it's easier, but when you just mix it out of a tube, it kind of splits into the color shade and then the iridescent particles, and becomes very hard to mix, so you have to have a lot of patience. Everything else I used this brand on. When you mix it with other colors and other brands, this color sinks to the bottom. So just bear that in mind. I find that if I use this one and say two opaques and one gold from Reeves that's been diluted with Floetrol, these colors from this brand, they sink to the bottom and they are hidden underneath the opaque colors, and the gold comes right on top and just floats on top. Okay, so this one, it's not too bad, but it's not as liquid as I would want it, so I'm just going to try go a little bit more, see how much I can fit into this jar. I think I'm giving you guys so much random information here and there. I don't want to confuse you, but I hope at least someone will find it helpful. I find it so hard to find information when I started. I mean, yes, you can pay for the course, etc., which is great, but when you're starting or you just want to do it for fun, I don't have the funds to pay, so I just tried to find as much information as I could for free. So hopefully this will help someone else. Pay it forward. Okay, that's a bit better. We'll see. Because remember, different viscosities give you different reactions on canvas. Okay. We have one more color to talk about. other side. And another branch. So this one is golden, and this is a high flow acrylic. Oh my gosh, these are so expensive, but they are probably even more liquid than you need for your flow art. So I have used it on top of white before. I'm just looking for a piece of paper. I'm so completely unprepared. Okay, here we go. I have a piece of paper. Okay, so this one is just like water. See? And I mean, make sure you always really shake it well, because if they've been sitting, again, they split up in their components. Absolutely, yep, see-through. But I have done some very nice paintings with those when you put them on top of white. Oops, I was looking for a brush, but I got distracted. Let's see if we can get like a flat brush. See, it's completely transparent, and out of that one little dot, because it has so much pigment in it, that one little dot, look how much coverage you get. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea of the type of paint this is. And no, I haven't used it with any of these before, so this is going to be very interesting. And I'm just thinking out loud whether I want another color or if I'm going a bit overboard, which I think I am. So I think this is already heaps, and they don't necessarily all going to go well together, but I think they might. So when I'm ready, I will link the video. Just give me time, because I do have two businesses I run that have nothing to do with art. So sometimes I film something and it takes me like a month to upload it. But yeah, these are the colors I'll be using, and I will see you in my next video. Oh, by the way, if you found it useful, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you.